A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Priya Krumale. Welcome to Just Africa. This is the program that connects policy, business, and people across the continent. From Monday to Friday, we take a deep dive into the ideas and decisions shaping Africa's economic future. From governance to grassroots enterprises, from boardrooms to local communities, we ask the hard questions sometimes about how Africa can unlock its potential and secure prosperity from its people or for its people. So today we focus on one of the continent's most pressing priorities, job creation. Not just about statistics, but as a practical engine for inclusive growth. So if we say, hey, there is multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria, and about 60% of the youth population, 60% of the population of Nigeria is what constitutes the youth population, and 60% of the population in Africa is what constitutes the youth population. How are we harnessing this? That's a pertinent question to ask, not rhetorically, but also to our guests and you watching us from there. Welcome once again to Just Africa. I'm not the only one on set. I have a beautiful lady right beside me. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Priya.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Lagos, Nigeria, Africa. Good, whatever the time is, just as Priya said.
Yeah.
You know, welcome to Just Africa. I am Omevi Idolor. Job creation is something that many people have been talking about, and it is, just as Priya said, it is a priority. It's something that we must deal with. Now, we must understand that African youth are not lazy. They have the energy, we have the skills, we have the population, we have so many things to make us a very, very strong continent. You understand? But with the number of youth entry into the labor market, statistics shows that like 12 million youth enter into the labor market every year. So that is about the need for 12 million jobs needed to be created. And only 3 million are created. Now, PA, this is not just a statistical gap. It is the gap between prosperity and poverty. It is the gap between crisis and stability. Because when these youth who are most vulnerable to insurgents recruitment, when there is need for any kind of what do I call it now?
When terrorists
exactly. These are the people they go for. They go for the youth. They go for those ones that who they feel are idle. And take it or you leave it, everyone needs some cash in your pocket. When they are recruiting these people into their criminal act, they are not just telling them to come and join. There is always a promise. And most times it has to do with money, safety, or security, however I want to put it. So you can see that we stand a chance of risking a whole lot if jobs are not created. And of course, jobs can be created in so many sectors, from agriculture sector to technology, to build manufacturing, to constructions, and so even to the creative industry. This, especially our focus on the creative industry here now, cultural creative industry is something that people have not tapped into so much. And do you know, for a movie, do you know how many people are employed just to produce one movie?
Quite a whole large group of people.
Lots. So you can imagine if we are doing certain movie, or we are the music industry, or we are talking about culture. Do you know how many people that will be employed to do it? That means you're actually taking people from the labor market. You are giving them a reason to be alive. You are giving them something to work with. So you see, there is need for it. We cannot go on and exhaust it or stop talking about it. It is something that we have to keep talking about year in, year out.
Yes.
There is need for it.
Great. It's something that we must not stop talking about, but let's elaborate a little further. The conversation we're having today, the topic, highlights how Africa's economic future depends not just on high-level growth numbers, but on creating real sustainable jobs that directly lift citizens out of poverty. The focus is on practical approaches, skills training, SME development, industrial clusters, technology adoption, and agricultural value chain that generate employment and broaden prosperity. It's about moving beyond policy and the talk of policy to implementation links that joins education, that joins enterprise and investment with actual livelihoods. If we can get that right, a lot of the problems will be solved in the continent of Africa. But you know what? We have someone who knows a lot about the topic of our conversation this afternoon. So we're going to break and prep you for his, coming into the program. We'll be back in a moment to stay with us. Is the guest around? Great. Yeah, please tell them they're making noise outside. They need to bring down that noise. Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now, joining us today to discuss about the youth and how we need to harness them in providing job creation and for them to be productively engaged. We have Alhaji Dr. Moshood Wasiu Abiola is the Chief Executive Officer of Fatman Technology and Engineering Global Services Limited, a company engaged in technology solutions, engineering services, and infrastructure support. A seasoned entrepreneur and technologist, Dr. Abiola has championed innovation-driven enterprise as a tool for job creation in Nigeria and beyond. His career spans over 2 decades of leadership in engineering projects, development, and business management, with a strong commitment to youth empowerment, skills training, and industrial development. He is widely recognized for advocating the role of indigenous companies in driving Africa's technological growth and for mentoring the next generation of African entrepreneurs. Alhaji Moshood Wasiu Abiola, you are welcome to Just Africa. Many thanks for joining us on the program this afternoon, rather.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here.
Great. Dr. Abiola, I can call you Dr. Abiola, I can call you Alhaji Abiola. And let me ask this question. When you see the statistics that in Africa, about 60% of what constitutes our population are the youth, and come 2050, we will be adding more numbers to that statistics. Does it strike you? Are you surprised or are you bothered when you look at job provision or the number of the employment or unemployed people?
Yeah, thank you. Looking at the statistics, I'm actually bothered. I must say that looking at the statistics, looking at the rate, the ratio of youth to the other age bracket, if actually you are a forward-thinking person and that you have the interest of the country at heart, you will be bothered because when you have a greater percentage of the population having been under a bracket that can be called youth, then you should be bothered, considering the fact that if you are not able to engage this populace, this section of the populace meaningfully, then you'll be heading for disaster. You'll be heading for disaster, and that is exactly what unconsciously or consciously that the past government in Nigeria have been doing. They have not really been paying attention to this time bomb, as you may like to call it. So I as a person, I as an entrepreneur, I as a job creator, one that I've been, I've been uh, job creation arm of our economy uh, in the larger part of my life. So I've been an entrepreneur since 2004. So I'm actually concerned. And for people like me, there's little we can do at individual level because as a corporate body, there's a limit to what a body can employ being a company, a corporate entity. So government have to be innovative in creating job opportunities for this large percentage of our society. So for me, innovation is the key. So I'm actually concerned to answer your question. I'm concerned.
So, but Alaji Mashood, whilst I want us to, because there is no area of life, there's no area of dealings where we can completely exclude or absolve the government of a responsibility, of its responsibility. But some businessmen or some public experts will say that we do not need to the government can't provide job for everybody in the continent of Africa, be it Nigeria, be it in Tanzania, in Ghana, or in Zimbabwe. And that well-to-do people like you, or like the Tony Elumelus, like the Dangotes, that what the government needs to do is to engage such people and to make sure that the continent of Africa is filled with such people. Then we can use them as an instrument to tackling the monster of poverty, or to make sure that the lives of our young people in the society are productive and not idle. So let's talk about the rich in the society if they are doing their own bidding to pull people out of poverty.
Right. I must say that many of our so-called rich, in quote, many of them are actually trying. I wish we could have more numbers added to that basket. Myself, I've been a job creator all my life. 2004, when I pioneered computer illiteracy drive in Rivers State, Nigeria, whereby we met with the Rivers State Post-Primary Schools Board. It's an arm of government. Rivers State government are in charge of post-primary schools, secondary schools, so to say. And we speak to them. We spoke to them then, and they listen. So this bring me to what government and private sector can actually do, because they actually partner in progress. So using this my case as an example for our discussion here. So if we then that we propose to the River State government, and we are lucky that the government then was forward thinking and they listened to us, that there's need for computer literacy drive. Let me say this in context. 2004, talking about computer literacy in Nigerian public education was like selling, I don't know how to use that. It's like a strange topic, because how many private schools in Nigeria then were actually having computer system in their school, as maybe even having it for either educational purposes or for working purposes or for any other whatever, or even for accounting purposes or for administration purposes in the school. So it was like a strange topic then. But we spoke to River State government then. I remember then we have Reverend Father Key as the executive chairman of Post-Primary Schools Board that time. And they listened to us, him and Chief Keke Amunia, Chief Obugo, and the likes. They listened to us and were able to introduce that literacy drive in the school then. And we were able to employ over 200 persons I mean, in Rivers State that time. And we went around 23 local government, even though then we have some local government that were into militancy, then were badly affected by militancy. But by 18 of these 23 were actually ready for us, and we went in. So what am I saying here? Is that it is the duty of government at various level, local government level, state level, and federal government level, to create the environment that is suitable, that is receptive for private sector uh, individuals like myself, like Dangote, like Otedela, like Olumelu of this world, to operate and be able to create jobs that are needed to engage this young populace of ours. So government must create this enabling environment. We can't be doing cut and paste, and we can't be running on ad hoc. Like we have some state governors that are doing that. For instance, your state government, they are not really doing well in job creation. These are states that have huge potential to create job for people. But instead of them, instead of some of the state government uh, working in tandem, hand in hand with federal government of Nigeria to create these opportunities, this environment for private sectors to come in, we see them doing land grabbing, market grabbing, just like what is happening in your state now. You see Baggy, Tesla market, that is Bola International Market, being taken over by opportunists, loyalists of the government, and stuff like that. So government must be serious because business itself is a serious business. For you to create enabling environment for private sector and private entities like person like me and the rest to strive to help the government in engaging these youth meaningfully, then the right environment must be created. And you can only do this by having enabling laws. Like federal government is talking about ease of doing business in the country. Let's ask ourselves, how many state government are buying into this ease of business? How many state government have domesticated this policy? Federal government cannot do it alone. Nigeria is a federal nation whereby we have federal unit, we have state, and then this state enjoys certain autonomy under Nigerian constitution. So this state must provide an enabling environment for these private sectors to come in and create job opportunities for the people. So for people like us, for me and my company, we are ready to work with government at state levels. So because after federal level, after federal government, the states are very crucial. You see, Mr. President trying to cut relationship with the state governors. Uh, we have seen allocation going to state has increased tremendously. But instead of this government at federal level, at state level, to use this inflow, this huge inflow, to create job opportunity for their people, you see them go taking this money abroad. Each time federal government release allocation to state governors, you see dollar rate uh, shooting high. There's a connection between the release of federal allocation to state governor and the increase and the fluctuation in the increase of exchange rate. Because once some of them have this money, what they go practically do is that before they leave Abuja, they go to some four here, we say some four here, and then convert this thing to dollars. And that is why we're having problems. You can imagine a state like Oyo State having, at this time, when the allocation to the state has tripled, still going to borrow 300 billion naira with nothing to practically to justify this. The state assembly were at recess. They have to call them back. Some state lawmakers were even excluded. And then hurriedly, this was passed by the state assembly. So you can see the governors, especially those of them in their second term, having to plug the state into debt because they're having presidential ambition. So this is quite unfortunate. So to answer your question, what the state governors need to do is to work with the federal government by domesticating these policies of ease of business so that it's very easy for you as an entrepreneur to operate in the state so that that help to eliminate double taxation so that you know that you don't need to be double taxed. You get my point. So that they know that look, if I go into Lagos, if I go into Sanfara, if I go into Kano, if I go into Oyo, I'll be welcomed. There'll be agencies in place to make my life very easy, to make the takeoff of my company in this state very easy for me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wasiu. Thank you so much. We are actually getting close to coming to the point of policies as regarding job creations for youth in Africa, Nigeria, and every state. But before we get to that aspect, you said something about governments creating jobs, and Amipeye here said only the government cannot do it. We need people in the private sector to also come in. We've also seen Nigerian youth and Africans that are very innovative, very creative. They believe your likes and many others. Now we're talking about the ones that are just starting up. They've done a whole lot. They've created things that have that can be consumed by Africans, but Nigerians. But we see very low patronage from them, from the citizens, from the government. For instance, very few government officials use African-made vehicles because most of them tell you that the works cannot be trusted or whatever reason there is. What do you think about this? Because for me, I feel this is not encouraging. You are an entrepreneur. How do you feel when there is a low patronage from government and the citizens of this nation? When you get this low patronage from there, how is your state? How do you think this affects the youth today?
All right. I think you are right on point. There's need for government at various levels to condition the corporate bodies and private individual as well to patronize locally produced items. Products that are produced in Nigeria should be given priority compared to products manufactured and produced outside the shores of Nigeria. But I will say that this is a dual role, as government has role to play in this. So also the innovators, private sector like myself and others also have a role. Number one of the role of this private sector is this. One, that we must produce, as you are innovating, creating product for the use of the populace. We must first of all make sure that our products are of international standard. We must not compromise standard. We must ensure that our products can actually compete favorably with the likes that are produced elsewhere, be it either other African country, Europe, America, and Asia. We must factor this in mind when we are producing, when we are innovating. And also, at the same time, we must also be able to play the ball by offering deals that are very enticing to the populace. Let me give you an instance. Last government did a whole lot in conditioning the market to buy from locally produced rice. I'm using that as an example. There are other examples. So the government encouraged growing of rice, blending of it, bagging, and the value chain. Government encourage that. And we even have what the government called anchor borrower scheme, whereby local farmers and local blenders are encouraged to uh, to 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 patronize Nigerian market. So what happened? We see farmers getting money from anchor borrowers, and instead of them to use the money for the purpose which it was intended, we saw whereby some of them took this money away completely from farming. Some invested in shares, stocks. Some invest in oil and gas. Some even do round tripping of dollars with this money. So this is a bad shape. This shouldn't be. And instead of us now having prices of this item coming down, we see price of rice, bags of rice going as far as 80,000, 100,000. I think Nigerian people should not be made to pay for this just because government is conditioning the market forces to bend towards you by making you a priority does not mean that you have to, in turn, punish the populace for this. So I think this is what I think the innovators, the entrepreneurs like me, must do to make sure that government will not regret their action. And looking at vehicles also as well, we have the likes of Nord. That one is in Djibouti. We have Innocent. We have land issue to also assembly. We have a couple of them in Lagos that are also coming into assembly of vehicles. And you see prices of this shooting up compared to others that you can actually buy from South Africa, from Japan, from US, and the likes. So we must make sure that our products are of top quality. That is number one. And we must be able to give Nigerian people a good deal. We must be able to give them value for their money. Because Nigerians that are not producing the market, the market in quote, they're like, they're more, they are Nigerian like me and you as well. So if you are producing that you want to make money, you must also know that those that are buying, they are equally Nigerians like you, and that you must give them value for their money. So it is two-way thing. Government should create an enabling environment by conditioning parastatals, MGAs in general, let me use that, to patronize Nigerian market. Nigerian market must respond by giving a good deal and producing top quality products.
Now, as with your experience in IT, oil and gas, engineering, and with your beautiful CV, what practical job creation model do you think can be replicated for the African continent to grow?
Thank you. My experience have told me that two things that we must do: innovation and disruption. You can't grow if I have to aspire to be a billionaire, then I can't tie myself working for Ilumelu in his company, in his bank, because as far as I'm an employee in that company, in that bank, I can't grow beyond the bank, for God's sake. So for me to grow, I have to step out the line for me to grow. So what am I saying? Nigeria is a peculiar market. Nigeria is a peculiar market. These two things I mentioned are twin. They go hand in hand, innovation and disruption. First, we have brains in Nigeria. I must give it to us in Nigeria. We have brains. We have talented individuals. See innovations like OPE, like Money Point. These are innovations. Before, we don't have such before. We have innovations. We have things. We have smart cash. We have plenty of them like that that are doing well. So these are IT products that have done well. We call them internet banking. Before, we don't have that. Now you can send money to somebody and expect their alert to drop almost immediately. Within 1 or 2 seconds, the person got the alert. Before, when somebody transfer money to you, you have to wait for like a whole day for you to be for that transaction to be confirmed. Now we have such. So person like me that are also into IT, we have many products that are in the pipeline coming up, which I will not I will not let the cat out of the bag. So we have many like that are coming up. So that is fantastic. At the same time, on the path of disruption, we must be able to challenge the status quo. Nigerian youth that are looking at me should listen to this. We must challenge the status quo. Things that white people have handed over to us, the Europe, the America, they have handed to us, this is how it should be done. We must challenge this. Who says this cannot be done? If you say this cannot be done, we should be able to ask questions. Why should this not be done? And if you could be able to mitigate or answer that why, then you can do it. Anything that you can think, then you can do it. And at the same time, I'm also of the mindset, even though I have, to my credit, I have 2 MBAs. I have executive MBA, I have MBA in technology management from Don Bosco University. And what am I saying? That's the fact that I believe in the model that that a successful society is a capitalist society. I believe that. But I must also say that being that Nigeria as a peculiar case that it is, because we are actually a peculiar nation, we also have to realize the government at various levels also should know that we should not in totality believe that government has no business in business. I think we are doing that to the extreme. And some governors, so to say, that are very criminally minded have actually explored that to enrich themselves. They will create company of their own using some surrogate to do that, and then they corner the asset of the state, and they run it by making money. They run it profitably, I must say. But we have a state governor that is almost taking all the land available in the state. Quite frankly, almost all the land Oyo State are gone by some certain forces working for the government, hijacking some of this land. If government or governors can use their surrogate, their front to corner this state asset and do it, I believe that.
Okay. Alhaji Mashood, we will be expecting you back after you successfully gained entrance back into the conversation. So something very, very peculiar that he mentioned is for us to sustain. Okay, Dr. Mashood, I heard you're back. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Now, before you continue with your line of thought, I want us to change the projection of our conversation. Now, it is almost like a cliche when we say Nigeria is blessed with vast human and material resources, or that Africa is a blessed continent. But the fact remains that unemployment in South Africa is about 33%. In Ghana, it's also maintained 2 digits. Inflation is eating deep into the continent. In fact, in Nigeria, not only unemployment is beyond 33%, but if you look at the continent very well, 80% that constitute employment is in the informal sector, not in the formal sector. So if we are to look at employment, where should be our focus? What industry should we give priority to? Both the formal investor, the informal investor, and the individual investor at the ebb of society. What industry should we be looking at? Is it tech? Is it agriculture? And how do we go about it?
Three sectors can actually absorb all the idle hands or underdeveloped, underemployed hands in Nigeria. Just three. IT, the tech, can actually take a whole lot out of this. Farming, that is agriculture, can actually do this. And the third is solid minerals. The third is solid minerals. In the tech, we are doing well, just like I said earlier. We can do better. There are many products that can be done. We can expand this cost and create more products, innovate drastically, disrupt Western and Asian technology, create new products, and then we employ unemployed hands in Nigeria. And then we may even have to source manpower outside the country. That's number one. Number two, agriculture. Agriculture is huge, starting from farming and through all the value chain. We are blessed with good fertile land. Nigeria has about 60%, if I'm not mistaken, 60% of our land. Of our land are not. Fallow that can be used for agriculture. We have so many products. Of recent, Mr. President banned export of shea butter, and because we're having refinery of that.
Oh, not again. We lost Alhaji Mashood again. So, three critical sectors you mentioned: agriculture, information technology, and solid minerals.
Yes.
I was glad when you mentioned solid minerals because it's quite a critical sector. And okay, Alhaji Mashood is back. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, please kindly continue with your line of thought.
Right. So we have IT, farming, and
minerals. Okay. So we've been having these recurring interruptions. So let's go on a break. When we return from this break, we still have Dr. Wasiu Abiola Mashood with us on the program. It's Just Africa, and we are reaching you live from our studios at Souqnews Television from the commercial city of Lagos. Stay with us.
Atlantic has become Nigeria's most sought-after city for its high-end infrastructure, prestige, and well-planned city layout, as reflected in an 8-lane boulevard, about 13 internal bridges, underground cables, and green footprints defined by over 30,000 trees. Additionally, having a building in the city has become a trend among the so-called big boys, as was the case with Old Ikoyi, Victoria Garden City, popularly called VGC, Osborne Foreshore, and now Banana Island. In this special report, Bayo Olaoye states that this talk of I belong and the prestige mentality has also spread to the big firms. Before now, Kingsway and Ozumba Mbadiwe used to say that Victoria Island were the go-to locations for high-rise office buildings. These locations are home to iconic developments such as Kingsway Towers, Heritage Palace, Fanfare Towers, the Wings and the Waves, among others, making them Nigeria's equivalent of Silicon Valley. The Eco-Atlantic City was modeled after the skyscraper district of Manhattan Island in New York City. It has become the new destination for big-ticket corporate firms which are building or relocating their new headquarters to the 10-square-kilometer city, rising off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos. The city is attracting investment interests in both residential and commercial real estate, the latest being MTN Nigeria, preparing to build a new headquarters. MTN is coming on the heels of First Bank, which recently turned the turf to build a 40-floor corporate head office, making the city's most iconic development so far. Prior to this courageous and ambitious entry into Eco City by MTN, First Bank, Dangote Group, and the Embassy of the United States of America have taken positions there, developing a new head office and a diplomatic facility respectively. Much earlier, a co-development company had occupied the city as the developer of the Azuri Towers, offering both residential and commercial facilities for high clients and corporate bodies. Arkland Property Investment and Oak Homes are also in the city, developing A&A Towers simultaneously. These are the residential developments that will be standing on the 22nd floor and the 33rd floors respectively. Other developments are the Pan-African Towers by Periwinkle Residences, Eco Pearl with Champagne Tower and Eco Pearl Black Tower, Amni Towers and Ani International Petroleum Development Company, and Louisville Towers by Total Energy Staff Cooperative and Multipurpose Society. Louisville will comprise 300 residential homes spread between 2 towers, a world-class sporting center and a club, retail outlets, and other facilities. It is designed to employ modern technology to achieve smart living and high standards. Eco Atlantic is an exclusive luxury city with superior infrastructure that appeals to the kind of investors we have seen in the city so far.
Anthony Onyemaechi Elumelu was born on the 22nd of March 1963 in Jos, North Central Nigeria, to Susanna Dominic Elumelu, originally from Delta State. Tony earned a degree in economics from Ambrose Lee University, where he laid the foundation for his future career, and then furthered his education at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a master's degree in economics. His academic journey also includes attending the Harvard Business School, where he completed the Owner of President Management program, equipping him with advanced business management skills. Tony currently serves as the chairman of Heirs Holdings, Transcorp, and United Bank for Africa, UBA, demonstrating his significant influence in the banking and investment sector. He founded the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which aims to empower African entrepreneurs through comprehensive training, mentorships, and funding opportunities. In addition to his professional achievements, he's also a family man, married to Dr. Adele Vivian Elumelu, and together they have 7 children. In 2020, his efforts were acknowledged when he was named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Anthony Elumelu's net worth is estimated to be around $700 million, a testament to his successful ventures and strategic investments. Elumelu continues to be a driving force in the business world, advocating for sustainable economic growth and empowering the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Our conversation has been building prosperity through practical job creation. And we've had Alhaji Dr. Moshood Wasiu Abiola, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Fatman Technology and Engineering Services Limited, joined us on the program, and we've been talking. So I asked you a question, and you mentioned about 3 critical industries. You mentioned agriculture, you mentioned information technology, and you mentioned solid minerals. You've spoken about IT, and you were talking about agriculture, but now I want you to delve into solid minerals, because that's the aspect that most Nigerians, where we have not just Nigeria alone, in the continent of Africa, but the thing is we have higher participation in that industry of foreigners, most especially the Chinese. But it doesn't look like its benefit has trickled down to the ebb of society yet in the continent of Africa. Alhaji Moshood. Oh, okay. I think the network has been really not helpful.
Sure.
Okay. Alhaji Moshood, are you back? Are you?
I'm with you.
Great. So could you please briefly talk about the solid minerals industry in the continent of Africa and its potential for job creation?
If you look at my CV, you see that my first set line of qualification I acquired in life is in mineral resources, it's in mining engineering. So I actually did mining engineering quite well, and I know what I'm talking about. So what am I saying is that the question you need to ask yourself is that why are the Chinese in Nigeria? Why are they everywhere in the country? Why are they everywhere in the country? If you do the mineral analysis, the spread of mineral deposits across the country, then you have no choice than to agree with what I've said, because almost every state in Nigeria has one solid mineral or the other. But because of the advent of gold, of crude oil, has really made Nigeria as a country to not so much pay attention to solid mineral. So solid mineral is what can actually give us high employment rate, because if you look at gemstone alone, let's take instance, gemstone. We have gemstone almost everywhere, especially in the southwest and in the middle belt of the country. We have gemstone everywhere, especially we have high deposit of it in Oyo, Osun, and Ekiti state. And these are stones that the government of these houses, the state government in these houses can actually put so much effort into, and then I'll be able to mine these things and process, not just mine, but have polish them, because some of these gemstones, only what you need to do is just for you to train able hands in cutting and processing, cutting, filing, and polishing. If you can train them in how to mine, how to cut, how to polish, and then you see most of the necklaces that you are using, some of these pendants you see are made of ruby. There are so many of them like that. So we have so many solid minerals available to us in the country, and we are not doing anything. I'm very happy that we have a president that has taken bull by the horn. Now we have a solid mineral minister, Dr. Dele Alake, that is doing a very good job at it. Lithium is available in abundance in the country. I want to see a policy towards the direction of this share butter, whereby we have a ban on exporting of lithium out of the country. Lithium can do so much for us. It's a multi-billion sector, and it's hugely untapped. As in, it's like we have not even started scratching. And we have this deposit in billions of metric tons that we have them there. We have tantalite in Jos. What are you doing about it? We have gold in Jos. What are you doing about it? We have limestone in Igbeti, in Oyo State. What are you doing? In Ibadan, we have every gemstone you can name in Ibadan there. We have it. Bitumen is there in Ondo. What are we doing with the bitumen? The deposit is there. We have white sand in Ekiti. What are we doing? That is what you need for you to do glass. What are you doing with it? We have gold in Osun. In fact, the trace of it can be fed. We have the alluvial deposits that have been washed. The washed one, we call it alluvia, is there in Ife. It's in Ilesha. Oshogbo, we have. In Zamfara, we have gold. Let me shock you. In Abuja here, in Abuja here, we have a trace of it in Gwagwalada. A trace of it is in Gwagwalada. So these are money-making minerals that God has given it to us. What are we doing about it? So what we need to do is for government at federal level to reorientate our populace and let them know that we are sitting on dollar. Maybe that one will sink into the hearing of Nigerian people, that you are sitting on dollar because everybody wants to make dollar. US dollar, you are sitting on it. Maybe we have one of the best granite in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Wasiu. You know, talking about these beautiful resources that we have and we're not utilizing them. Would you agree with me that somehow, some way, maybe it's as a result of skill mismatch? Do you think that is the reason why the youth are not focusing on those aspects of refining or working in this solid minerals sector where they can refine these resources and become a product that can be patronized by Nigerians and Africans generally?
Yes, we have mismatch. We have been having square peg in round holes all the while in this country. This is the first time in the history of the country that we're having a trained accountant as the ends of affairs. But when you now look downwards in the state level, at the state levels, what kind of leaders? What are the qualifications of our leaders? Because you can't give what you don't have. If you are not forward thinking, if you are not a professional, if you have never borne your hands, if you have never been able, if you have not been a wealth creator in your private life, you won't be able to create wealth when you become governor or president or minister. You won't be able to create it. They can put you where you can be in the middle of the ocean and you still be thirsty. We have governors that have governed some of these states that have these resources I've mentioned, and yet they are not able to do anything. Even when some of them will tell you that some of these minerals are under exclusive lists, it's only federal government that can do it. It is not true. It's because they don't have the will to do it. You can prompt government. You can prompt government. My advice for us to unlock some of these potentials is that I'm encouraging entrepreneurs like me, wealth creator like me, fairly successful individual like me to come into governance. And that's exactly what I'm thinking of doing. Going to Oyo State there, chase all those people that have no business in being government, check them out, bring in Oyo State sons and daughters that are forward thinking, that have the brain to create wealth for my people, for our people to come in there and they create this enormous wealth that have been there lying.
Doctor, right now, we are also facing the challenge of brain drains. Youth are no longer, you talked about dollars. Everybody wants to make dollars. Everyone wants to be paid in dollars. So right now, most Africans are looking beyond the continent and saying how they can get money in dollars. Brain drains. Now, with the rate at which youth are leaving the continent, leaving Nigeria, do you think we have the people who can actually work in these states for us to be able to to maximize our natural resources, the fintech sector, the agro sector? Do you think we have the youth who are willing right now to go into those industries and make it a big market to boost our economy?
Yes, we do. We do. The answer is, is an affirmation. I mean, it's affirmative. We do. We have enough in the country, despite the fact that brain drain that I talked about is a negative tendencies for us in the country. Many people are outside the country looking for greener pasture. When you look at my CV, I am the country director for Nigerian diaspora for Asiwaju. So when I'm talking about diaspora or talking about the brain drain, I know what I'm talking about because I am the head of this agency in the country here. And 60 to 70% of my members are actually people in diaspora. I can tell you for free that many of my members that are there in UK, in Canada, in America, in Europe, wherever, they are willing to come back home if the opportunity exists in the country. They are ready to come. So even when they are not coming yet, those that sit there, they can still be there. Those of us here in the country here, we have enough manpower because Nigerian guys are brilliant. Nigerian guys are brilliant. And every year we produce good brains in universities, in polytechnic, in college of educations. We are churning out every year thousands of these good heads. So we have what it takes. What we need to do now is that we must ensure that we elect into office people that are brilliant. We don't need opportunists again in governance. We don't need them because they are wasting away. Just imagine now, if you, for instance, now we'll be facing elections by 2027, general election, and we have governors that have no business. Some governors are dancing around. Some are always go on vacation. Some they have outsourced the governance of their state to their lieutenant. Some they don't even know what to do. What they know, what they are just expecting that let this allocation come every month, and then they don't know what to do with the money. They give it to their front for them to be able to amass wealth for themselves. Some are already even planning for 2027 presidential elections, so that I have my own state. So these are issues. If we have people,
Dr. Wasiu, just a moment. Now, in wrapping up, I need you to answer this question objectively. Because one of the problems within the continent of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, Uganda, Democratic Republic of the Congo, you name it, is that we have raw material resources. And leadership is a challenge. So I see your conversation, you're taking into the aspect and the jurisdiction of leadership as one of the core challenges that Africa faces. So let's assume someone like you is appointed by a government in Ghana to become a consultant to the Minister of Youth Development, or probably in Nigeria, you are appointed as the Minister of Youth and Sports, or maybe Youth Development, knowing very well the potentials that we have in raw materials and talent. Where would you focus, or how are you going to chart the waters in bringing development to either Nigeria or Ghana using the youth as a tool? Now we are wrapping up with you answering this question.
Good. If I am so opportune to be appointed as youth minister or as any minister for that matter, or something related to the economy of the country, the first I would do is to study the gaps. Finish. Simple. I don't bother myself about going around doing too much of paperwork. I focus myself on the gaps that we have in each of these sectors of our economy that I've mentioned, and I see how I can bridge them. And I can tell you that within 24 months or 36 months, the results will be so overwhelming that even the opposition of government, which I served, we have no choice than to accept the reality that the gaps have been breached. What we need to do is that since that, well, we have talented youth, we have highly educated youth, only what you need to do is for you to identify this gap and provide secondary training. Provide secondary training to the youth in this area that you have identified as gaps. Finish. You close the gaps. Once you close the gap, then the economy runs. We start making money. Government make money. The youth are engaged. Bawala, no trouble. Everybody makes money. Everybody's happy. Those that are even into crimes, we know that those that are making legit money are even doing better than them. They'll be forced to drop the crime and join us. Close the gaps. But it takes an intelligent individual as a minister or as a governor to identify these gaps. And that is what me as a person, if I'm opportune to be elected as the governor of my own state, Oyo, to do what I will do. I will identify the gaps, close the gaps by training my people, providing an enabling environment for them. Then we close it. In 24 months, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. So that is exactly what you can do at the federal government level. At the federal government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are trying in this area. I must give it to them. They are doing that. We have the solid mineral minister has established mining marshals that are going around plugging all these loopholes here and there, closing some of these illegal mine sites or what are fine. Now we have a lithium factory that is coming up in Nasarawa. Fine, but we need more than that.
Thank you, Dr. Wasiu. Thank you so much. Now you've been in this entrepreneurship business since 2004, you said. And that has been a very long journey so far, and we wish you well. So my question is, all this while, how many people have you taken out of the labor market, and how many are you mentoring right now to see how they can start creating jobs for themselves and for other people?
Yes, I am happy with that kind of question, and I want to believe that some of my mentees will be glad to see me talking about this on screen. I don't need to blow my trumpet, but since that you asked, I've done quite well for myself. I've been able to turn thousands of hands into viable hands. Let me say this: the pioneer program I talked about in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State, in partnership with Rivers State Post-Primary Schools Board, for the first year for the first time, because it was tailored with the school curriculum in the state. We introduced that into the computer education, computer studies into River State curriculum. And I was asked, I have to employ them as a consultant. And I did employ more than 250 for the first time that we did that. By the time we were hitting 2 years, we had almost 750 directly under my belt. Were given big schools to run then, and then we did well. And also, I've done projects for UNICEF, I've done projects for AFDB, and I've done for EU. My company actually were on WASH. Those that knows the project, they will tell you WASH. So whereby we were charged with sanitation projects, and through this, my company engaged so many hands, hundreds of hands. We did projects in Ayedade, local government with so many rural areas in either the local government of Osun State who are beneficiary of some of these our projects. And not only that, we also have done a couple of training for people in Kogi State, whereby we did training and project in water, borehole drilling. So whereby we teach them how to drill, and then when you drill, how to develop it, and then a couple of other training that that people of that region have benefited from us. And also in Abuja presently, we have so many hands that are also benefiting from us into this. Like you must see, I'm a certified project manager. And what I do basically now is to teach people, some of my mentees on how to apply principle of project management. And I've been doing quite well on that. So cumulatively, maybe I need to reach, maybe I need to write a book about this. Thank God for this kind of a question. I think I need to go back to my own and then dust up the figures so that we can roll it out. We can provide a kind of a manual, if you like, call it that way, for other entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs, so that they can learn from us what we have done and some of the mistakes we made and the successes that we recorded in this sojourn. This is about 21 years of activities, and we are still doing it. Look at me, I'm still very young, so we are still going to be doing it. And and I believe that many Nigerian youth will be motivated by this. When you look at 21 years, when you take 21 years from my age, you will agree with me that I started entrepreneurship very early in life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alhaji Dr. Moshood Wasiu. Now, I'm very glad you mentioned those words at the end, that you've started quite early in 2004. You are 21 years, that's 2 decades plus into this journey of business, economy, and development, and you've been quite successful and still in your prime kicking. It's been a great time having you with us on the program today. Alhaji Moshood is the Chief Executive Officer of Fatman Technology and Engineering Global Services Limited, a company engaged in technology solutions, engineering services, and infrastructure support. A seasoned entrepreneur and technologist, Dr. Abiola has championed innovation-driven enterprises as a tool for job creation in Nigeria and beyond. Thank you so much for your time with us today on Just Africa.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be with you today, you and your co-host, Idolo, and I must thank two of you. You have done a good job, and I want to believe that our path will still cross again.
Consequently, we would like to still have you come have conversation with us on how to take the development of Nigeria and Africa to the next level.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Such a robust conversation. And the solid mineral industry, I like the references he made, and most especially of the vast resources that we have on the soil in Africa, because when I intentionally mentioned Democratic Republic of the Congo, because of the vast resources they have there, the copper that we have both in South Africa and in Nigeria and other African countries, and how we need to develop we need to have local investors and local companies who mine, and we don't have to ship out the raw materials but transform them according to the Renew Hope agenda, where we're looking at adding 30% of value to it before shipping them out of the country. But my colleague Olumide will not have it that we have just 30% additional value, but about 100%. Well, it's a journey, and we're glad that we have such policy framework in place. And
I also love the fact that he did not forget to mention the agro sector, the agricultural sector. He was right when he said that the youth has dominated the fintech, the technological aspect of the industry. They are doing well, sincerely speaking. So the solid minerals, the agricultural sector, these are sectors that the youth really need to go into. just as you mentioned to him, instead of leaving it, the mining, in the hands of foreigners, they come to our states, they come to our communities, and they take those resources away. And we cry, hey, they are taking our stuff and all that. No. It's high time we go in there and started doing what we are meant to do. It's high time we go into agriculture as youth. Agri sector employs about 60% of the total population, right?
I think it's about 35%, but with a potential to actually cross over to 60%.
So you can imagine that, and we are still saying that we are not producing enough yet. So if the youth can feel, okay, it's time to create a job for ourselves, just as the way we are excelling in the creative industry, everyone is on social media, just the way they are excelling in fintech, in the IT sector. So I believe that they can actually excel in the agricultural sector.
Yes.
It might take time, but yes, it's doable.
It is.
Yes.
It is doable now, and it's the right place for us to draw the curtain so we can go and start having a good weekend. My name is Priye Krumale. Many thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souqnews TV. A very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, and thank God, it's Friday. If you must drive, please don't drink. And if you must drink, please don't drive. My name is Omevi Idolo. Thank you for watching.